Hello everybody and welcome to Impact. I'm Nick Barber, your host for the government segment, and we're starting a brand new season here of Impact, and we have a return visitor guest, Hugh Vandeyar. Hugh is going to get frequent flyer miles. He's a journalist. We'll tell you a little bit about him in a minute. We're happy to have him here, and welcome back to our new season of Impact. Hugh is a resident of Schenectady with his wife Agnes. Hello, Agnes. And Hugh, let me tell you a little bit about him. He was a journalist, a radio news editor at the National Radio in Guyana. That was GBC. A journalist for the Daily and the Sunday Chronicle in Guyana, which was a national newspaper. Hugh served as a public relations officer for the Guyana National Trading Corporation, known as the GNTC, and that was a trading arm of the Guyanese government. He also served as a communications manager for the Guyana Sugar Corporation. His last position in Guyana before coming to America was a communications consultant with the Ministry of Local Government, and they prepared for local government elections in Guyana, and that's our government tagline. So Hugh, lots to talk about. You've done so many things. You served as not just a print journalist and editor, but you've also worked on radio and television.
Radio, yes, a bit of television, not much.
Yes.
Because at the Guyana Sugar Corporation, I produced a television program.
Yeah. Also,
in addition to radio programs, we had a program twice a week broadcasting the news to and what's going on in the corporation to the workers particularly.
Yeah.
But it was a nationwide thing.
Yes.
We had a theme song called Sugar in the Morning, Sugar in the Evening. You know the McGuire singers?
Yeah, the McGuire sisters.
Yeah, the McGuire
you use that song as a...
that song
oh, that's pretty cool.
as a theme song, yeah.
Yeah.
It was catchy.
Yeah, that's good.
So we did a few TV programs there.
Being the government segment, we're going to talk about your last position, which I think is pretty interesting. But before that, let me ask you this about your background. You told me something very interesting, where you grew up.
I grew up in the capital, Georgetown.
Right.
But I was born at the largest county called Essequibo, a place called Bartica.
Mm-hmm.
That was known as the mining town. It was the gateway to the interior. It was a mining town.
Yes.
Where miners go to get gold and diamonds and stuff from the interior.
Yes.
And that particular region, that Essequibo district, is being claimed by Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
That's our neighbor to the west.
Yes.
We have Venezuela to the west, Brazil to the south,
Brazil,
and Suriname, Suriname on the east. So we are surrounded by these three countries, two of them who are trying to grab our land, more or less. They claim in different
So there's
parts.
not really friendly relationships.
No, we do have
there's
friendly relationships.
Yeah, but there's a border dispute between
right now
Venezuela.
Dormant, yes,
yeah.
Between Venezuela and Guyana.
And that's ongoing. It's still going on.
No, but right now it's quiet.
It's quiet. Okay.
Chavez hasn't been talking much about that recently because I figure he feels he won't get anywhere with that. Nobody's going to support him.
Okay.
Neither the British nor the American governments will support him on that.
So it's quiet.
And then on, it's quiet right now.
But it hasn't been resolved. It's still an issue.
It hasn't been resolved.
Okay.
In fact, they are occupying an island called Ankoko in the Essequibo, which is on Guyana's territory.
Is it a military occupation?
Yes, a military occupation.
Okay. We hope it's peacefully resolved one day. But your father was in the military, correct?
He was a tailor, and he was commissioned to work on the American Naval Base.
Oh, it was an American base.
It
Okay.
was an American Naval
All
Base.
right. Okay.
During the war days. This is the last World War.
Yes.
And because of that, he left our home in Georgetown, the capital, to go to work on that base, and resided at Bartica. This naval base, it's on an island called Macauria. A lot of people don't really know that because they probably weren't born around that time.
Yes.
And so they, unless they were told by their parents or grandparents that they would know that there was a naval base actual presence there.
Yes.
But I remember, maybe a few of them would remember seeing the blimp.
Yes.
Hovering over Guyana. It used to be circling all over the place during the war days.
Uh-huh.
And that was the base for it. It used to land there.
And that's why you were born there.
That's why I was born there at Bartica.
How old were you when you were living in the naval base in?
Well, like I said, I was born in 1939. I lived there for about
5 years
to
old,
6 years.
6 years
Yes.
old when you left?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
I started working as a journalist at a very early age, in my teens.
Yes, really?
Yeah, straight out of school.
Well, let's get to your last position, the government. You were preparing for local government elections, the communications consultant with the Ministry of Local Government. And was that when the late President Chetty Jagan was in power, or no?
No, he wasn't in power then.
Was it before or
But
afterwards?
it was long after. He had passed. This was around 2002, 2003.
I see.
The president then was a guy named Desmond Hoyt. Hugh got my first name too.
You?
Hugh Desmond Hoyt. It was then that the Ministry of Local Government.
Yeah, well, let's
Asked me-
compare local government
Yes.
to here. Like, what were the elections like?
Well, actually, the elections did not come off at that particular time. We were preparing.
Oh, you were preparing for the
What
elections.
we had done, first of all, let me tell you this. A joint committee was set up between the Guyana government and the opposition parties, and they shared the chairmanship. So there was a co-chairman from the People's National Congress, which is the main opposition party, and one from the People's Progressive Party, that was the government party.
Mm-hmm.
And they had other parties involved, other opposition parties, like the Good and Green Party and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that committee was to revise the whole local government system.
Yeah.
It was a complete revision. And after doing that, we had to take it to the people in the 10 democratic regions. Ghana has 10 regional democratic counties, you call it. And so we had to go there by land, by sea, and by air to speak to these people about it and ask them to submit changes if they have any.
Suggestions?
Suggestions that they may have.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because each particular district is a bit different from another one. They
Mhm.
had different things going on there, and so we had to structure the thing in order to meet the
Mhm.
requirements of these particular people.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, this was in keeping with the policy of the late President Dr. Chetty Jagan, who had believed in consultative democracy.
Consultative democracy,
Yes,
meaning
that is what you call it.
getting the suggestions and
Consulting-
outreach that you did with
consulting
the
people and
people.
the opposition.
Yeah.
And that, I
That's
think
an interesting
what-
term. I never
yes,
heard
we call
that.
it
Consultative
democracy.
democracy.
Ghana has 6 races, actually. We have the
Mhm.
Europeans,
Yes.
Chinese, Portuguese, the Negroes, Indians, and the Amerindians. Those are the native people, the Amerindians.
Amerindians, or the
Amerindians.
natives.
We call them Amerindians.
Okay.
Yes. We had to get in touch with all of these people to get them to understand what we were doing. So it entailed a lot of traveling.
Well, that must have been interesting.
It was quite interesting.
The travel, the meeting the people, meeting different.
Yeah, I enjoyed that most of all.
Yeah, that must have been a great
It
experience.
gave me the opportunity, and I think more journalists ought to do that, to get involved in stuff like that.
Yes.
But a lot of them were, well, it's hard for them to do actually, because journalists in Ghana don't work for a lot of money.
Yes.
You get a lot of fame, but no
Yes.
fortune.
Yes.
know?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
you work every single day almost. We used to work on Christmas Day, Good Friday, all the holidays and stuff like that.
Yes.
Without any extra money, no
No
pay,
overtime, no
yeah,
special holiday pay, none of that.
nothing
Yeah.
like that. Until years
Yeah.
afterwards, when all of that changed. Maybe now these young guys are getting it.
Yeah.
But in my time, it was unheard of.
Yeah. It's really interesting the outreach that you did in Guyana with the local government elections. How could you compare that to, say, Schenectady, where we live now, government outreach and asking the people their opinions and so forth? You have any suggestions for Schenectady or cities like Schenectady?
Yeah, I would suggest that they go out more to meet the people, and not only at election time. You need to tell people what you're doing. You need more public relations.
Mm-hmm.
You need to let people know what schemes you're doing, and sometimes even before you do them, to get people involved. Let them understand that you're doing this for their benefit, and then you'll get their support.
So besides the privilege of the floor, will people go to a meeting, but usually it's just before they're going to vote?
Yeah,
What would you suggest? The elected people go out, or
Yes,
they have public relations
exactly. They need a public relations
officer or
campaign.
Huh?
They need a public relations campaign. Whether they do it by a designated officer, a particular public relations officer,
Right.
or they make everybody in the council,
Yes.
you know, a sort of public relations officer.
Yes.
Give them the responsibility of
Yeah.
doing public relations
Yeah.
on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Not only at the city council meetings or at election time. You need to do it on an ongoing basis.
Okay. Well, it's a
That
good
is what-
suggestion.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what you need to do.
Well, we'll talk to our city officials, and that's why we have a show like Impact. Impact is to bring government issues in our segment, to the people, and those are all good suggestions.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, we've been visiting with Hugh Vandeyar. Hugh is a retired journalist. We're talking about his experiences in Guyana as a native and a boy, and also his professional experiences as a journalist, broadcast and print. Hugh, you and I both belong to the Kiwanis Club, a good service organization.
Yes, we do.
And we just had a recent
You're
annual.
past president, and I'm now a director.
You're on the board of directors? Yep, thank you. I wanted to mention to our viewers here on Impact that Kiwanis has a second annual Ugly Car Contest that's coming up on September 15th, and that's going to be right here in the city of Schenectady. And it's not just for ugly cars, and it's not just cars, motorcycles, trucks, other vehicles. The first year was great. This will be the second annual. It's on September 15th. If you have a classic car, bring it. If you want to come and, as an observer, come and watch. There'll be food and activities. And all of the proceeds go to Mothers Against Drunk Driving and scholarship programs for children. Kiwanis is about children. So we'll put the website up on the show so you can find out how to get more information. Hugh, we want to thank you very much for coming again. You've earned another 100 bonus points on frequent flyer miles here on Impact.
Well, thank you very much.
And we hope you come back again. It was a
great
very interesting visit.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
You've been watching Impact.
Always a pleasure.
I'm Nick Barber, your host, and we'll see you next time.
Proctors, bringing the best in arts, education, and entertainment.